Have you ever felt like your entire world has just crumbled? One day everything's fine, the next, you're staring into a future that's completely blank, a void where your hopes and dreams used to be. This is exactly where a young woman named Ruth found herself. Her story isn't just an ancient tale. It's a powerful testament to how loyalty and faith can completely rewrite our destinies, turning our deepest losses into our greatest legacies. Imagine this: Ruth, a woman from Moab, has just lost her husband. In that culture, for a woman, this was devastating. It meant no social standing, no financial security, and a future that looked incredibly bleak. Her mother-in-law, Naomi, also a widow and grieving her own sons, was understandably bitter. She decided to return to her hometown of Bethlehem, and she urged Ruth and her other daughter-in-law, Orpah, to go back to their own families. It was the sensible thing to do. Orpah, with tears in her eyes, kissed Naomi goodbye and left. But Ruth clung to her. And then she spoke some of the most famous words of loyalty ever recorded. She told Naomi, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried." Think about the weight of that promise. Ruth was choosing to leave everything she knew: her home, her family, her culture, even her gods, to follow a grieving, impoverished older woman into a foreign land. She was choosing a life of uncertainty and hardship out of pure, selfless love and loyalty. When they arrived in Bethlehem, things were just as tough as you'd expect. They were two widows with nothing to their names. To survive, Ruth went out into the fields to do something reserved for the absolute poorest of the poor. She gleaned. This meant following behind the harvesters and picking up the leftover scraps of grain they had missed. It was backbreaking, humiliating work, but Ruth did it without complaint. She worked tirelessly from morning until evening, driven by a quiet strength and a determination to provide for Naomi. It was in these fields that her life began to change. The owner of the field, a respected and wealthy man named Boaz, noticed her. He didn't just see another poor woman gathering scraps. He saw her incredible work ethic, her humility, and he heard about her extraordinary loyalty to Naomi. He was moved. He told his workers, "Let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her." Boaz didn't just offer her a handout. He offered her protection, dignity, and provision. He saw her character and it captivated him. This is such a key moment. Ruth wasn't trying to scheme or manipulate her way into a better situation. She was simply living out her commitment with integrity and a quiet, powerful faith. Her devotion was her testimony, and it opened a door that striving and hard work alone never could have. Following Naomi's wise counsel, Ruth took a bold step of faith. In a culturally significant act, she approached Boaz and asked him to fulfill his role as a kinsman redeemer, a relative who could marry her to protect the family line and property. Boaz was honored by her trust and her character. He saw her loyalty not just to Naomi, but to her late husband's family. He agreed and he followed through. Boaz married Ruth, and just like that, the story comes full circle. The poor foreign widow who arrived in Bethlehem with nothing becomes the cherished wife of a wealthy and respected man. The woman who thought her future was over finds a new beginning, filled with love and security. But the story doesn't end there. It gets even more incredible. Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed, and Obed had a son named Jesse, and Jesse had a son named David. Yes, that David, King David, Israel's greatest king. The destitute widow from Moab became the great-grandmother of a king. Her act of loyalty echoed through generations, and the lineage didn't stop there. It continued all the way down, leading to the birth of Jesus. Ruth's story is a beautiful reminder that our circumstances don't define our destiny. Her life seemed like a dead end, a total loss, but through her unwavering loyalty and simple faith, God turned her loss into an eternal legacy. She stepped out in faith, clung to love, and her small acts of obedience had a ripple effect that changed the course of history. It shows us that no matter how dark our situation looks, when we choose loyalty, faith, and integrity, we open ourselves up to a future far greater than we could ever imagine. Thanks so much for watching. If this story touched you, please hit that like button. And subscribe for more content that explores these timeless truths. We'll see you in the next video.